another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungu Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another amazing episode. Before I get onto today's episode, being a South African movie review day, I just want to talk about the polygamist. Because hey, Jonah C. Mr. Joe, I beg. Wait. Because, I finally got to watch that show, although I had to do it like within, was it 2 days or 3 days? I think I watched it within 2 days. The first day I watched up to episode around, I think, 18 or 19. And then I had to go to sleep because I watched it up to 5 a.m. in the morning. Because everywhere it was ending, I was just like, I can't stop it here. Until I looked at the clock and I was like, asubuhi inafika, like it's getting to daylight and I haven't gone to bed yet. And then the next day I had to edit some 2 shows and put them up, blah blah blah. So because of that, I couldn't just sit and be able to watch it. And by the time I was finishing, it was late. But then I finished the remaining episodes. So I think I just rush about my thoughts on that. It was a good series. It reminded me of Toxic by Jackie Matubia. If you haven't watched it, by the way, go and watch Toxic on YouTube. Support our girl, okay? Not just foreign shows. I mean, The Polygamist is fine, but also watch Toxic. Because they're sort of the same. It's just that Tim was a broke bastard. Was a broke polygamist. And Jonasi was a rich polygamist. So, that's the difference. But they're both very, very good. And of course, the polygamist had a better and a bigger budget. But Jackie Matube sacrificed her own funds and created that show. So can you go and rewatch it even if you've watched it before? Support a Kenyan lady, okay? So anyway, Jonasi. When it started, because I had heard people say, I started but I couldn't finish. I saw Wahoo saying that she started and stopped at episode 5. Episode 5, I get why. Because that's when Jonasi, they had gone for their second honeymoon or whatever. And then they come back to the kids having a party in the house. And Jonasi clocks Pume's best friend, the girl, Liwot, whatever her name is. And I get why. Because I was like, Atam Toto. Jonasi, even a kid. Like, you have gone through the other women, now you are going after kids. Because I remember that stare, and oh my God, the actor, I don't know his name, but the way he stopped and paused and looked at her winding her waist, there's a way he did his face, and I was like, oh my God. Like, that man, you loved to hate him. Like, you just looked at him and you're like, oh my God, I hate you, because of everything he was doing. But I found it to be mild at first, because he was cheating. You get that, most men do. Not to say that I would want to be with such a man, not to say that it's okay, but it happens. Once he clocked the kid, I was like, no. But then they didn't show anything about her. So I was like, okay, maybe he did nothing. But there's this moment where after that part, he's in his office on a desk looking at a laptop, but would not show what is on the laptop. And I remember thinking at that point that he's probably stalking her social media or something. And then when we get to now talk about her, and we're shown about her and everything that Jonas has been doing with her, taking her to trips and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I think that is what he was doing. And then also, that trip that they took to the family's vacation home, I don't know where. Every time that girl, she tried to play coy, like she didn't want to go to bed with him. And he kept doing like, And then he would ask her to do something and she will, try to avoid it, and he will do like, And then he will try to touch her and again. She will evade it and he will do, I was like, wewe, senye utapatikana. When that man gets you well. And it happened. Of all the women that he was with, that's the one that had like a mild BDSM done on her. With the mouth, whatever it's called, and everything else that she was put through. My man. Hey, Jonasi. That man was just terrible. He was terrible. And I remember at the beginning, I was like, well, at least he's not beating them up. He was not beating his wives up. At least he's not doing that. Only for him to start doing it after he was poisoned by his wife and he did not die. I was like, did that poison make him become so aggressive now? Yo. And finding out that his second wife is actually the woman who's being paraded as his brother's wife. Yo. And also, like that daughter, okay, through that entire show, the people I felt so sorry for were the kids, especially the older ones. Pume and Menzi and that other girl, the one that, from the second wife, the one who was being hid. And it was just bad. Because the number he did on those kids, it was just, I don't think they can ever really recover, even though he's dead. And now the son, at the end of it, he ends up sleeping with the same woman that was sleeping with his dad. I think that's some sort of a curse in my culture, actually. And these guys are Bantus as well, so maybe it also applies there. And she was also sick like the dad. Although I think she was on medication or whatever, but I don't know because they never showed us if they used protection or whatever. They just showed us Menzi going, hey, yo. Parents, you can either be a blessing or a curse to your children. Jonasi was a curse to his children. I love that the daughters did not turn out as bad. I was very afraid that the second girl from the second marriage, she was going to turn out like her dad because she even tried to seduce her uncle. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? She went down on her sister's boyfriend trying to get attention, and now she tried to do the same thing with her uncle, the man who raised her. They lived, Wato, Jonah C. May you never rest in peace. I love what the wife did because after he took advantage of her, he beat her up and took advantage of her, and she had tried to kill him a couple of times. That man would have never stopped hurting Joyce. So I'm so glad that she did what she did and he ended up dying. I know it's a crime. I know that what she did technically is very, very wrong. But what he had done, he will never have stopped. So, yeah. If you haven't seen The Polygamist, go to Netflix to watch it. And I'm telling you, I should have told you spoilers, by the way. Sorry. But, hey, that man, Tofiakwa. May nobody that I know ever meet a man like him. Or even a woman, because even women can be that. Some women can be like Jonasi. May anybody I know never experience a relationship like that one. Because that man was just a tyrant. That man was just a terrible, terrible human being. So, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you haven't watched it, go to Netflix, watch it. And then think about how you feel about him and the entire show afterwards. Anyway, today I'm going to be giving a review of the South African movie Little Big Mouth. Little Big Mouth is a 2021 South African rom-com written by Gray and Ziggy Hofmeyer and Lou Venter. Hope that's how you say the name. It's directed by Gray and Ziggy Hofmeyer and produced by Menzi Tabede. The cast members include Amanda Dupont, I don't know how you say that name. She plays Mel. Maps Mafalala plays Sia. Brady Hofmeyer plays Luke. James Bothwick, he plays Frank, that is Mel's dad. Jacques Adrians, hope that's how you say the name, plays Isaac. Charles Bouguenon plays Sadie, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers like me, continue with this, continue watching this, continue listening to this. If you do not like spoilers, leave, go to Netflix, watch the movie Little Big Mouth, then come back here and tell me if you agree with me or not, because this is official spoiler alert. Little Big Mouth follows Mel and her family, that is her son Luke and her dad Frank, together with this musician Sia. Now, when we start the movie, where Sia is performing in a wedding with his band, two other guys, and they were having fun, but then Sia was having a little bit too much fun because he was getting drunk. He had a bottle of whiskey and he was getting drunk. Luke comes into the party with his mom and he starts dancing. And so Sia continues showing off, trying to play the guitar even more because he's trying to entertain the kid, and the kid continues dancing. But then nobody is having fun at the wedding. The bride and groom are very, like, they just looked fed up. That's all I can say. They looked fed up and just tired of him and his shenanigans. Nobody seems to be enjoying anything at that party apart from Luke. So he sees Luke and he sees the mom, and even he talks to Luke and encourages him to dance and stuff. The mom had left for a little bit, then she came back, took Luke, and they went away. When they leave the place, he goes and back to his home where he shares, I think, their apartment together with the other guys from the band, and they kick him out because he did what he did at the wedding and they did not appreciate it. So they ended up losing, I think, something, whether it was money or whatever it was, but they ended up losing something nobody was enjoying. And so they kick him out. He leaves with his bag and goes to the school because he hadn't been paid and he wanted to be paid. I don't know if the wedding was at the school or where he was going to pick his check at the school. I did not understand that part. But anyway, he goes. Instead of just going with the suitcase up to the school, he leaves it at a dump site. Like, there were other trash bags and stuff there, and then he puts the suitcase on the floor, and then he puts the trash bags on top of it, and goes into the school. And I'm like, why would you do that? It's yours. Walk around with it. You've been walking around with it trying to figure out where you're going. Now you get to where you can get money to do something, and you're leaving it. Actually, it wasn't money, it was his ID. He had left his wallet, I think. It was his wallet. He had forgotten it at the party. And so he had gone to collect it. And so he leaves the bag outside. When he comes back, actually he spots Mel again because, yeah, she was a bookkeeper. And so he comes out after spotting her, and he sees her walking out and he starts talking to her. They talk, and then he sees some people taking his bag. He goes there, tries to get it back, saying that he's going to take it to the police, blah blah blah, because it looked like a bag that was just stranded on the floor. And you know what they say: if you see a bag just lying somewhere, you should call the police because it could be a bomb or something. So anyway, he takes the bag and he's saying that he's taking it to the police, but they had tasered him and he had fallen down and hurt his head. He had hit his head while he was falling down. So Mel goes with him to her home, enters a passport on the gate while he was saying. They get in, he fixes his head, like he wraps it with a bandage and stuff, and then offers him food, which the dad, Frank, did not approve at all. He kept on calling him a name. I wanted to write it down and Google it later to find out exactly what it was, because when they were asking, Luke kept asking what that meant, and the definition that the grandpa gave, I don't think it was the right one. So, but it starts with an S. I forgot, and I'm sorry. Go and watch it to find out. So he kept calling him that, and so I did not like. So he leaves after eating, and he leaves with the bag, saying that he's taking to the police. So he goes to a hotel, tries to get himself into the hotel, but he didn't have enough money. So he goes out. There's this place where homeless people are sleeping, and he tries to sleep there, covering himself with some, I don't know, papers or something. And then one homeless person comes with his trolley, and then he sleeps next to him while coughing like I don't know what. And he puts his feet like right next to Sia's nose, like Sia's face. And he was coughing and doing that thing. This movie was disgusting, by the way. I should just say that right now because I didn't like it. Anyway, he leaves and goes back to Mel's place. Getting to the gate, he thinks about, ringing the bell, but he doesn't. He remembers the gate passcode and he enters it and then gets into the property. Everybody's asleep. He sneaks around the backyard, gets into Luke's, it's not a tree house, like what can you call it? Like it's a house built behind his house where he has his toys and stuff. I don't know what you call it. I don't know. They had a name for it, but I've forgotten what it was as well. But it's like a tree house that is not on a tree. It's on the ground. So like a little cabin behind the house. And he had his toys, his snacks there and stuff like that, and a little bed. So he enters in there and he falls asleep. In the morning, he wakes up and he wants to sneak out, but the grandpa is outside peeing on the grass, on the flowers. I don't know why he was doing that, considering that he had just left the perfectly good house with a perfectly good toilet, but he was peeing in the garden. This entire human being called Sia, seeing that, I don't know, because he woke up and he was also feeling a ping and he couldn't wait for 5 or 10 minutes until that grandpa left so that he could also go behind that little shack and pee there. This man takes the kids' pot, like playing pot, like a cooking pot. He takes it and he pees in it. Then when the grandpa leaves, he opens the little window, pours the pee outside that little cabin, and then he covers it and returns it to the place where it was. And I was like, this show is very disgusting. I hate it already. I kept thinking like maybe I can just do the review for John Nassi. Like, instead of this movie. Because I kept looking at them like, why am I watching this movie again? Because I thought when it was being advertised, when I saw the synopsis, when I saw the little trailer, I was like, oh, it looks good. But then I was watching it, and this is like the first, I don't know how many minutes, 20 minutes. I was like, what the hell am I watching? This is so disgusting. But the disgust did not end there. And they call it a comedy. So anyway, they continue. He wakes up in the morning and he leaves, leaving again his bag in the garden somewhere, covering it with leaves and stuff. He goes and tries to find work, blah, 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 asking people if they want to hire a guitarist, and he doesn't get that. Luke, being the curious boy that he is, he finds the bag, takes some things from it, shows it to his grandpa, and they look at it and they see his picture. I think it's a picture of him and his mom. And when Mel comes home, they show it to her, telling her, you see, we told you he's a creep, we don't want him here. At first, Luke had liked Sia. But at this point, he was changing because he saw the mom liking him and she did not appreciate that. So when he came back, because Mel called him, and when he came, she asked about that bag. She was very upset, sent him packing again with the bag and told him to never come back. And when she gets into the house, the dad starts, insulting Sia and calling that name again until Mel was so upset and he called now Sia and was like, come back and stay. There's a room at the back. We usually, rent it to like an Airbnb, but you can stay there until Thursday and then you can leave. So Sia starts staying there. Mel tries to, tell him to look for a job like as a guitar teacher or trainer or something and all of this, but he's also looking for gigs and he's performing, blah, blah, blah. He started performing at this place. By the time it got to Thursday, he was supposed to be leaving and he left and went to this hotel. By that time, a lot of things had happened to him. So this little boy knew that he had like a jug full of mosquitoes and he unleashed them in the room that Sia was sleeping. They beat him up so badly he woke up in the morning and his face was just bad. And that was the day that was supposed to be performing for the first time. At this place, he had just gotten a new job performing there I think it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then also he had peed in a bottle of whiskey that Sia was supposed to drink because they were like to perform after dinner with their guitar. Also Frank, that is Mel's dad, he also used to play guitar. So they were supposed to do that after dinner. And so they were setting up and sitting down to do that. Sia went to pick up something or the grandpa went to do something. This boy took the bottle of whiskey and peed inside of it and returned it to the table. Sia comes and he drinks that, saying that it tastes different. And the grandpa goes like, yeah, that is whiskey. Each and every one of them tastes different. The grandpa also drank it. And I was like, what kind of disgusting show is this? And I get it was supposed to be a prank, but pee? That was number 2. Number 3, just before he left, he took glue, that is Luke again, took glue and put it in the shower or shampoo bottle that he was using. So when he went to the hotel and he was showering there for the first night, because he had dreadlocks, they stuck to each other. I don't know how he untangled that. I don't know. Maybe he used hot water. I don't know. But the next day he looked funny. And Mel was meeting up with him and stuff. Mel also went on a date with that guy, Isaac, but she wasn't so into him. And he kept singing because they had seen a musical or something. It was just bad. That guy was just bad. Anyway, After he leaves and is performing, and Mel is continuing trying to sort of continue with her life, the next day they meet at the hotel where Sia was staying. They talk, they end up going back to the house, and Luke and Frank, they are sat in the house. They are looking at them because they're at the park in the pool, and they're discussing what happened. Luke confesses that he peed in the bottle of whiskey that they drank, and the grandpa does not even try to tell him that what he did was wrong. Instead, he encourages him to continue performing pranks on Sia because they both do not like him. This guy had done nothing wrong to them. Apart from that thing of peeing in the kids' cooking pot, he hadn't done anything wrong to them, honestly. But they were behaving like this with him, which I just hated. Anyway, afterwards, they start seeing each other some more. They had already kissed, I think, at some point. And there's this time they went on a dinner and then they went back to Sia's hotel room. Well, they were trying to do the hanky panky. The dad, who was a gambler, by the way, that's why he had divorced his mom or Mel's mom or something, or they left. I don't know. Something had happened. So they go, he's at home, he's gambling on his laptop, and then he wins something, I think, and he got too drunk and he slept. Luke was with him at home. He comes, paints all over his face. He starts doing things. He eats junk food. He takes ice cream. This boy knew that there's this medication that the grandpa was taking for his heart. He used to take it while they were eating at the table. That first dinner that Sia had with these people, he took it and was like, this is my heart medication. And he took it in front of Luke. So unless you're telling me that this Luke kid is the dumbest kid on earth because he's not like 5 or 2 or 3, he's an older kid. I think, I don't know, was it 8 or something? Like, he wasn't so little, so he could understand that this is grandpa's medication. So for him to look at it and go like, oh, candy, I like candy, and then he puts it in this thing, a bowl, and starts smashing it and tops it up on his ice cream and licks it. Is that kid dumb or what? Who wrote this script? Oh my god, this movie was annoying the hell out of me. Like, it reminded me of Talia and how much I just hated Talia. Like, while I was watching it, I was so pissed. I was like, why did I think this was going to be a good movie? Anyway, he starts doing, I don't know what he was playing, and then he falls down and he goes to his little cottage at the back of the house, and he's trying to cook something with real fire. I don't know, he was trying to make a pizza or something, and I was like, why didn't you wake up your grandpa? He's blanked out because he's drunk, but why couldn't you just wake him up? And then he ended up burning down that little cottage of his, and he was outside there and he fainted because of that medication that he had, licked like it was glucose. And so the mom and Sia are in the hotel trying to do the hanky panky, and then she feels like something is wrong. His maternal instincts kicked in, and the intuition was like, yeah, there's something wrong. So they rush back to the house. They get there, and the backyard is on fire because the little cottage that the boy plays in is on fire. They go there and they get him. So Sia takes him and dips him in the pool, the kid, so that he could wake up, and then they rush him to the hospital. The grandpa wakes up and tries to put out the fire, and then they rush to the hospital. When they're there, surprise, surprise, Mel starts yelling at Sia, telling him that he's the bad seed, that ever since he came into their lives, things have been going bad for them. And I'm like, what has actually gone bad in your life? Sia has been the one who's being harassed by your kid every single day. This is the first wrong thing that has happened since. And again, it was your dad's fault and your son's fault, not Sia's fault. So how is that his mistake? Anyway, Sia walks off, but he keeps calling and texting. She does not respond until finally the next day, after the kid comes out of the hospital, she's lounging, and then Isaac calls her, telling her, or was he texting? I don't remember what was happening, but they were communicating. And he goes like, your dad, Frank, should go to a old people home. And she goes like, why? Yeah, he's a liability. He couldn't just watch the kid for one evening. Like, he got drunk and passed out and almost set the house on fire. And I'm like, what? Mel also was like, what? She hung up and she just couldn't believe that that guy had said that. I couldn't believe that he suggested that. But don't worry, when you and I get married, my mom is going to move in or something and she's going to put everything in order or something like that. And I was like, what the hell? You want me to send my father to an old people home and then you bring your mother so that she can do what? She's going to put things in order there. Wows. But anyway, so after that, she starts regretting, leaving Sia. And Luke was there and he asked, like, what's up? You miss Sia? And she goes, like, yeah, I think he also called and she did not respond or something. And so Luke was like, we should go and get him. They go to the hotel and he's just left. And they try to follow him. They go to the train station or something. They follow the bus that he was in, which led to the train station. And they follow there and they're running and they're running and they're running. Even the police get involved and they catch Luke because it was crazy. But then by that time I had stopped really concentrating on the show. I'll be honest, but I saw what was happening. So any conversation they had, I did not listen to. But anyway, they caught up to him, but he was already in the train and he just said, they started talking to each other through the windows and then the train left. Later on, they're back at home and she's sad and things are not as they're supposed to be because, Sia left and he was all the joy that we needed, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows up to the house. And Frank, I think that part I heard him say, like, your problem is that you do not listen. I don't know why he reacted like that, but yeah, I think Sia said something and he said that. But then, yeah, they ended up performing because they agreed. Actually, Mel could sing, so they agreed to go and sing and perform somewhere, and they sang together at the end, and Luke was dancing there, and the dad, that is Frank, he agreed to be the manager for that little singing thing, and yeah, we end the movie with them performing. I think that's how it ended. So that is Little Big Mouth. I hated it. Like, not hate with passion, but I did not like it. Like, at all. All the pranks that kid was doing was supposed to be funny, but I found them to be very indulgent of a very stupid kid. Because why are we indulging his stupidity? Why are we indulging? The father, the grandpa did not even try to correct him. And when the mom found out that he had put glue in his shower gel or shampoo or whatever, she just laughed. And when Sia gave her a look, she had the audacity to look like, oh, like frown a little bit, but then she was smiling. There's some pranks that are just, I know, maybe I'm the one who hasn't been with around kids for such a long time, and maybe I'm the one who's not agreeing to such pranks. I don't know. Maybe I'm the one who has a problem. But I didn't find this movie to be a romantic comedy at all. It had the romantic part because Mel and Sia had such good chemistry. But I did not like it at all. At all. There's no part of them that I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. None. None. I wanted to beat Luke up half of the time. And the other time I wanted to slap the hell out of Frank because he was being a racist prick. Because, by the way, Frank is white and Mel would be considered colored and so would Luke. And then Sia is just like dark skinned. So he's whatever, Zulu, Kotsa, whatever tribe in South Africa. So Frank was just being a blatant racist towards Sia. And yes, I get Luke was being a kid and he was afraid that, his mom was going to love Sia more than she loved him. But still, ugh, I did not like it. I wasted 1 hour, 34 minutes of my life that unfortunately I can never get back. But I had to do a review for it. I did not like it. I know maybe other people liked it, but I saw like it was rated 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't want to check on Rotten Tomato because it might be the same or even lower. But I honestly hated it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And even, I think just for the great acting, because Sia was amazing. And Mel was amazing too, by the way. I will give her that. Like, the characters were good. Characters can only do so much. They work with what they're given. So yeah, the script was stupid, but the actors did their best, if that makes sense. They did the best with what they were given. No, I wanted to like look because he's such a cute kid, but the shenanigans he was getting up to, I just did not like them. Even there's a point where he came at the middle of the night with these fake teeth and painted face, woke Sia up to scare him, and I'm like, why are you doing all of this? Like, why? You were just a badly mannered kid. Anyway, I think I'm just being too much. I think I'm the one who's overreacting, but I did not like it. I did not like it at all. But yeah, I love the characters. I love the chemistry between Sia and Mel. I liked Luke as a kid that he was, hated the things that he was doing, did not like Frank at all, found him to be a racist. And yeah, that is my review on the movie. So please forgive me if you do not agree with me. But yeah, tell me in the comment section what you thought about it after watching it. Yeah, remember that I'm still cooking for people if you want me to cook for you. Remember that I'm also baking. So please DM me on my Instagram and on my TikTok, Mimi's Musings Podcast. And then remember to please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications here. And so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people